What I'm about to read to you is something that came to me late one night recently, and it was a thought about fear. I grabbed my iPhone, I opened the Notes app, and I just started typing. And I'm almost shaking right now because it's so profound, because I started putting this into practice, and a few videos in, I got 1 million views. And I was so afraid of being perceived. I was so afraid of what people might say about the way I look, about the way I speak, what they're going to say about me, just in general. What kind of BS am I going to get in the comment section? And what I'm about to say, I think, is what killed that insecure way of thinking. And if you give me a few minutes, I think it'll help you too. So here we go. I'm going to read it word for word, and this is about fear. Your brain tricks you by maintaining a scarcity mindset so that your brain and body can go on interfacing with the outer world based on that same inner scarcity mindset, creating an ever-perpetual circular reference. It isn't until we step from the known to the unknown in which we break this, but this is where true beauty and power lie. We realize we are so much more than what we currently are. These limiting belief systems we keep just to protect us from uncertainty. But the irony is that in this protection, we only damage ourselves and make ourselves more miserable, eventually wondering what we could have been. So is it protection or the very antithesis? I call it fear. Fear is a byproduct of limiting beliefs, a disease we all have, some more than others. It's a disease that came long after we needed this protection to keep us alive from predators. But now there are no predators. There are simply fears. Fears of being judged, fears of failure, fears of not measuring up to societal expectations and arbitrary guidelines set forth by manipulative powers that be to guide an outcome of control, and fears of being seen at all. Before, it was don't be seen by a predator. Now that predator is the eyeball of modern judgment, the gateway of exposure to the entire world if something wrong is said, if something is taken the wrong way, but the only way out is through. The only way is to understand that we create our own reality. Even the most canceled are among the most respected. And canceled by who? People that we don't admire? People that we wouldn't want to be ourselves? People we despise? So if that's the case, we can openly say we don't care about them. So who's left? We narrow it down to the people under that, the people in our more immediate realm, the people who we grew up with, our family members and colleagues. But see, this too is an illusion, because everyone else has the very same fear. I refuse to live in a world where the potential of my soul is stunted by the mere silent thoughts of the small group of people around me whom I hardly see anyways because we're all just trying to make it by. So all this to say, what is the answer? The answer is to be or not to be. To be the person you know you can be, or at least aim to be, and try so hard you leave as little disappointment and doubt at the table of the Last Supper of your existence. This is why I believe now more than ever, I believe we all can be whatever we know we can be, and that God gave all of us the tools within our own bodies and minds to do so. This is why God knows what can or will happen for you, but you still have to enact free will. You still have to get knocked down 7 times and get up 8 because God designed you especially for that suffering. Without this great suffering, what you are to become wouldn't be so beautiful. It wouldn't be of any value. To live is to suffer, but because we know this great suffering, we know love and happiness. Because we know sickness, we know health. And because we know poverty, we know riches. But to live is also a gift. We get to choose our suffering. The suffering of ignorance, self-indulgence, distraction, outward punishment of others, or the suffering we go through to become that special being God has already designed you to be. I don't believe it's all free will or all destiny, but a combination of the two. We are born in a specific place, in a specific time, to specific parents, but what we do with our lives is ultimately of our choosing thereafter. And because God put you in a position to suffer, He also puts you in that unique position to overcome. And in that overcoming, you can evolve to something you may never have imagined or thought possible for you. We are simply a vessel, a creation by God to glorify God and life itself, the greatest gift that can or ever will be. Now all that's left is the work. Are you still afraid?